What you know about rolling down in the deep? When your brain goes numb, you can call that mental freeze. When these people
Every now and again, something will happen in this world of ours that already happened in a different world. That would be the universe of The Simpsons, the iconic Fox sitcom that some consider the greatest television show of all time. On numerous occasions, we've shouted The Simpsons did it to actual current events. The latest in a long line of creepy coincidence involves a classic Season 4 episode that somehow managed to predict the COVID-19 pandemic and the rise of so-called murder hornets in one fell swoop. After 31 seasons and well over 600 episodes, here are a few other times when The Simpsons predicted the future. Number 1. The Coronavirus and Murder Hornets. Season 4, Episode 21. We're used to The Simpsons predicting the future at this point, but perhaps not with this much specificity. The series somehow managed to predict the events of 2020 way back in 1993. The episode, Margin Chains, features Springfield's residents panicking over a dangerous new Asian superflu dubbed Osaka flu. When an angry mob confronts Dr. Hibbert for a cure, he tells them anything he could offer would only be a placebo. So naturally, the mob starts rioting looking for the placebo, which results in a truck full of killer bees being overturned. Dangerous new diseases, hysterical mobs, and deadly stinging insects? That's 2020 in a nutshell. Number 2. The ending of Game of Thrones. Season 29, Episode 1. The Simpsons kicked off its 29th season with The Simpsons, a fantasy-themed episode where Springfield is reimagined as a medieval dystopia. Naturally, the episode took some potshots of Game of Thrones and even featured a cameo from Jaime Lannister himself. But we really didn't expect it to wind up predicting the climax of that HBO series 2 years ahead of time. The Simpsons features a scene where Homer accidentally sets a dragon loose and it begins torching the entire town, basically foreshadowing the destruction of King's Landing in the shocking and controversial GOT episode The Bells. Number 3. 2 Eerie football predictions. Season 26, Episode 16. This 2014 episode managed to predict 2 completely separate world events, both connected to the glamorous world of football. No, not the American version. First, it accurately predicted Germany and Brazil would face off in the 2014 World Cup final. Maybe that's small potatoes, considering both countries are famous for having great football teams. But even more impressive is that this episode managed to predict the 2015 FIFA corruption case, even going so far as to show the VP of the fictional World Football Federation being arrested by the feds. Number 4. Donald Trump's become president. Season 11, Episode 17. In the episode Part of the Future, we get a glimpse of a future wherein Lisa is president of the United States. And wouldn't you know, there's a joke about Lisa's tenure is being hampered by a budget crisis caused by President Trump. At the time, it seemed like a silly, ridiculous notion. We could all have a laugh at the idea of Donald Trump being president. Number 5. Disney buys Fox. Season 10, Episode 5. In When You Dish Upon a Star, there's a sign gag in the episode that features a 28th Century Fox logo with the words, "A division of Walt Disney," cut to 20 years later, and the Disney juggernaut has purchased Fox, which just so happens to be the company that produces The Simpsons. Number 6. Siegfried and Roy's Tiger Attack. Season 5, Episode 10. This one's sad. In the world of The Simpsons, they have an analog to Siegfried and Roy called Gunther and Ernst. They've appeared infrequently. But one time, Gunther was attacked by their white tiger, Anastasia. It was a harmless joke at that time, but a decade later, fiction became reality when Roy Horn was attacked by Manticore, the tiger the real-life duo used in their act. Number 7. Homer predicts the mass of the Higgs boson. Season 10, Episode 2. Homer Simpson is not the sharpest tool in the shed. He has, however, had brief moments of brilliance. For example, when he became an inventor, he made an impressive scientific discovery, 14 years before actual scientists managed to do it. According to Simon Singh, who wrote the book The Simpsons and Their Mathematical Secrets, Homer's prediction for the mass of Higgs boson particle wasn't that far off. 775 giga-electron volts compared to the actual 125 giga-electron volts. Apparently, that's quite close. Number 8. The Simpsons impacts the design of the iPhone. Season 6, Episode 8. Here's a case of The Simpsons making a joke in the present that ended up resonating into the future. Dolph has an Apple Newton, an archaic PDA, that he tries to write beat up Martin. The Newton changes it to eat up Martha, much to the chagrin of Springfield's bullies. Apparently, this moment was so impactful on Apple that it frequently referenced it when designing the keyboard for the iPhone. Of course, anybody who's ever cursed autocorrect while texting knows that Apple didn't quite achieve their goal. Number 9. A Real-Life Whacking Day. Season 4, Episode 20. Whacking Day is a Springfield tradition where everybody drives snakes into the center of the town to club them to death. Homer loves it, Lisa is against it, and in the end, it turns out that the whole thing started as an excuse to beat up the Irish. In 2013 and 2016, down in the Everglades, they sanctioned actual snake whacking events in an attempt to curtail the presence of a Burmese python, an invasive species. They just called it the Florida Python Challenge because they evidently lacked the imagination of Springfield down in the Sunshine State. Number 10. Blinky the Three-Eyed Fish. Season 2, Episode 4. Blinky is one of the more iconic images from the world of The Simpsons. The three-eyed fish was first found by Bart in the episode. 2 cars in every garage and 3 eyes on every fish. Where it's strongly intimated, the fish was mutated by the Springfield nuclear power plant. Life imitated art when a three-eyed fish was found in a reservoir in Argentina in 2011. Yes, the reservoir was being fed water from a nuclear power station. Number 11. The Simpsons invent FaceTime. Season 6, Episode 19. And finally, while Star Trek gets a lot of credit for predicting future technology, The Simpsons hold its own as well. For example, in Lisa's wedding, Marge and daughter have a video conversation on their picture phone. It's a technology that is strikingly similar to FaceTime. Nor is this the only piece of 21st technology foreshadowed in Lisa's wedding. That episode also features characters wearing smartwatches. Of course, in that episode, Lisa's fiancé Hugh Bartfield mentions how Britain saved the United States in the World War III. Here's hoping that's a prediction from that episode that doesn't come to pass. And there you have it. A bunch of times The Simpsons eerily got a future event right. What other times do The Simpsons see the future? Let's discuss in the comments.